Reading. Lots of reading. Also, I get you're trying to tell a year 2000 audience how big comic books are and everything, but is there any reason why you needed to tell us the number of pages and illustrations? Also, I need a source on all these statistics. Can someone call that Wikipedia guy to put a citation needed on this movie?
What happened during the delivery? Did you drop him?
This doctor apparently went to the school of making things super dramatic instead of just telling everyone what the problem is. They can't even fit the name of the school under the sign. It's so long and drawn out.
His arms and his legs are broken.
Really? Then what the was this earlier with the baby moving his arms back and forth? Also, a medical diagnosis delivered as a sermon. Hello everyone, my name is M. Night Shyamalan. I am extremely clever with my camera and won't someone notice me? Why aren't we talking about me?
I'm afraid of water.
David Dunn has the same weakness as the aliens in Signs. Why did this girl choose to sit next to David when the two seats in front of them seemed to be wholly unoccupied?
How long are you going to be in Philadelphia?
I'm married.
Not for long. Immediately after being rejected, idiot's separated husband goes right back to wearing the ring. Dude, either the marriage is salvageable or it isn't. This girl on the train should have no bearing on the matter. Are half this train car's seats facing backwards? How is this girl facing the extramarital embarrassment that is Bruce Willis right now? What's with the upside-down kids in this movie? This shot of David in the background while the body in the foreground gets bloodier by the second? This is some masterful shit. Between The Sixth Sense and this movie, I'm actually not surprised M. Night keeps getting work, despite his failures. This here is some brilliant stuff, man. A minute's worth of silent reflection bullshit. Sure, it's an unbroken shot. The shot is unbreakable, but it's not like fun or anything. Awkward separated, but still in love with wife you didn't die hug. Hey dad, you should love mom again, okay? Please? Did they leave it up to David to lock up the church after the memorial service? Where did everybody go?
$40.
Four-door sedan. See, I can play this game too.
I checked. You were right. You've never taken a sick day. 5 years, no sick day. I get it.
Okay, even if David Dunn were somehow clueless to his own invulnerabilities, there's no way he'd work a job for 5 years and not remember he hadn't taken a sick day to the point where he needs to ask via note left with the secretary.
Do you remember me getting sick?
He can't even remember ever getting sick in his life? I mean, by 15 he'd be bragging to the other kids about how he never gets sick. By 25 he'd be like Bill Murray in Groundhog Day, doing everything he can to try to get sick. And by 35 he'd be selling his blood to the CDC via the CIA. What would not happen is this guy not getting sick his entire life and not f***ing noticing it.
Where is it? On a bench? Across the street?
Yep, your mother left a present for you on a bench across the street in 1974 West Philadelphia. And I still expect it to be there when your paranoid ass finds his way through the fear and across the parking lot. Wow, even wrapped in purple paper screaming, I am a present, please open me, this gift somehow remained untouched until little Mr. Glass got here. Things are constantly upside down and symbolic and in this movie. But this camera move keeps our view of the comic book upside down for a bit until it decides, nah, let's look at this right side up for once, making me wonder what the point of that was other than to look cool.
They say this one has a surprise ending.
Thanks, M. Night, for telegraphing the surprise ending.
Oh, my kid's gonna go berserk.
Once again, please.
If Elijah has such standards for the works of art in this place, why didn't he try to figure out this guy's intentions in the first place?
You need to go. Now.
I'm wondering how Elijah stays in business. He caters to people with extremely specific tastes already, and now he's kicking this guy out for wanting to give that drawing to his kid. I mean, does he stay in business if he sells just one of these? The rent in this place has got to be high. His mom must have bought him a few of those comic books that currently sell for $140,000. He must not have to worry about money.
Did you see a little Asian child with a blank expression sitting outside in a mechanical helicopter that shakes when you put quarters in it?
That's super racist.
We're by appointment only.
Elijah, who stuck his greeting card on David's car and is hoping this guy shows up, isn't the least bit curious as to who walked into his store.
I believe comics are our last link to an ancient way of passing on history.
I know he's supposed to be crazy and everything, but what exactly do comic books do to pass on history exactly? Hieroglyphs actually tell a history. Comic books tell the story of mutant powers in most cases, and then get adapted into bullshit like Suicide Squad.
If there is someone like me in the world, and I'm at one end of the spectrum, couldn't there be someone else, the opposite of me at the other end?
Again, sure, Elijah's a crazy dude, but I really don't know what he expects someone to do once he finds that unbreakable person. Hey, your bones break and mine don't. Let's be friends. It's hard for me to focus during this scene because I keep hearing James Spader in my head, deciphering these glyphs behind Samuel L. Jackson here.
Joseph, don't take another sip of that water.
Well, if it was poisoned, game over, I guess. I mean, what are we protecting him from at this point? Looking at this newspaper, I wonder why David isn't a much bigger celebrity than he is. Surely he'd be getting hit up for interviews, his face would be well known to everyone, and he'd be getting people bothering him everywhere he goes. But this guy still lives in relative peace after this. David hears a noise so that he can't complete his flashback until later in the movie when the audience needs a whammy reveal.
He's carrying a step out of line.
Too bad David can't be at all the entrances during the time leading to kickoff. Is this the only guy bringing a weapon into the stadium today? If so, what a lucky break. Or is this movie saying there's only one entrance to the stadium? And if so, where are all these people walking around the line going? And then the guy leaves, and David doesn't follow him or anything. Maybe there really is only one entrance to this place. Remember how David told this guy in person to start patting people down. He didn't get on the radio to do that. So any number of entrances where they aren't patting down, this guy can get in.
How'd you know that guy you bumped was carrying a weapon?
More to the point, how lucky were you to bump into that guy who had a weapon? The most unbelievable thing about this movie is that Sam Jackson's character magically spots the camouflage jacket guy from earlier after a long time between the ticket line and Elijah leaving.
Hold up a second!
Do not shout this at people you want to check for handguns. Bad idea. Also, didn't you spot him outside the stadium in the parking lot? And now you're chasing him inside the stadium? The is going on with geography in this scene? There's no way he sees this after breaking 50 bones.
He's Potter's cousin. He's starting cornerback at Temple University.
You, the guy the agent was talking about at the beginning of the movie before she died in a train crash, here, right now.
How much did you put on there?
Were you asleep when you put the weights on? The father-son bonding, superpower discovering weightlifting scene is so good. Have I mentioned how brilliant M. Night's eye was early on in his career?
More?
I know David is a burgeoning superhero, but despite this, the movie has him struggling to lift 270 pounds. But then they add more weight, and he suddenly blows that out of the water. Either he's super strong and this kind of weight doesn't affect him at all, or there is a limit which you shouldn't have reached yet.
How much is it?
Turn on some lights!
Elijah, right?
Well, isn't that convenient for the story we're telling? She's a physical therapist. He's a guy in need of physical therapy. And of all the gin joints and all the towns and all the world, he walks into hers.
What part of David's body was injured?
Who said my husband's name was David?
You see, this makes it seem like Elijah is super creepy. And, well, yeah, he kinda is. But it's not like he could control who he got when he got sent to physical therapy. I mean, the script is the villain here. If Elijah planned this somehow, then he's the most psychic motherfucker I've ever seen. Also, dang, M. Night, we get it. You like the Bible. David, Joseph, Elijah. I'm surprised you didn't name Robin Wright's character Bathsheba. I like how this drug deal is what David decides to go after, and not the obviously abused child from a few minutes ago. Drugs are worse than child abuse, which means this movie was made by the DEA. Gotta admire the restraint M. Night puts in this movie. I haven't seen one of his usual cameo.
Excuse me, sir. Can you step out of line, please?
It feels like this stadium is the crime center of the world. Why not always have pat-downs when people are coming in? Metal detectors? I mean, man, this college football team must be like the 1980s Miami Hurricanes or something to have so many outlaw fans. Movie pulls a gotcha, proving David's vision's wrong and making him doubt himself, when really it's just an excuse to pad the runtime an extra 20 minutes. It appears that this middle school is in session, basically, so why is there a college football game going on right now? Something that usually happens on Saturdays and definitely only at nights during weekdays.
My office was on the other side of the building back then.
This ain't about you, lady. Just tell the story about the drowning already. Old lady remembers David, thank God. Then tells him a story about him almost drowning that he entirely forgot. And now he will use that story to avoid his true calling. But I'm still more pissed that he somehow forgot his own near drowning. He's one of the stupidest heroes ever, I think.
You're still phobic of water.
Who asks questions like this? Don't you just say, are you scared of the water?
Joseph, what the hell are you doing?
Yep, that's right. Joseph is so desperate to prove his dad's a superhero, he's going to shoot him. Shoot him! Not cut him with a knife or throw a glass at him or any other still crazy but still more sensible than a gun way to test that theory. Jesus Christ, Joseph, get your shit together. Also, good job with gun safety, David, you fucking twat.
And friends listen to each other. They don't shoot each other. Do they, Audrey?
No shooting friends, Joseph.
I can't tell if this is supposed to be a moment of levity or if it's terrible. Until then, Nick Fury, the early years, next to the comics that would inspire him.
You better not be jacking off to the Japanese comics, I swear to God.
Dude, you can see Elijah from here. You can clearly see he's in a wheelchair and not jacking off, and nowhere near Japanese comics, you racist.
Oh, look, man, I didn't know you were in a...
Bullshit, you knew. There's no way you missed this guy coming into your store. Elijah is a dick to comics, comic store employees, and his own goddamn leg. David is a really tactile-minded guy. Touching humans gives him visions of what they've done, and touching a train now triggers his final flashback, which was of a car accident 25 years ago, which makes touching the train to get that memory a little weird. What was I saying? Gotta remove a sin for James Newton Howard's score, which is awesome.
Go to where people are.
What? That could mean anything, and it's pretty late at night. Can you give me a 5% more helpful suggestion? David runs into the one asshole not wearing black or gray in this scene, and guess what? Jewel thief. Also, jewel thief? Nope, not a crime. Not going after her. Fucking date rape? Nope, not stopping that guy. In fact, everyone wearing something colorful is a criminal. Remember that. Also, David's still waiting for an even worse offender, who conveniently shows up. Imagine if all he found from here on out were parking violators and speeding offenders. Then he'd have to live with having let that rapist go free.
Can I come in?
This is an instant door shutting and locking and calling the police, but this guy is actually practicing what his parents taught him. Always be polite.
Are you sure?
And then, instead of simply slamming the open door, he tries to keep this guy from opening the screen door. It's important for this crazy psycho killer to wear his orange jumpsuit wherever he goes, even when he's trying to look like an everyday normal resident of this house. He's really moving about this house carelessly, not remotely stealthy like he should be. He's just walking slowly, but he has no idea where the bad guy is, so he should be sneaking slowly, right? Water is his only weakness, yet he still somehow chooses to superhero at a home that has a pool on a night it's raining. Also, thank God for the bad guy that David's weakness is water, right? Otherwise this push off the balcony is just a minor inconvenience. Over 1 minute and 10 seconds of almost drowning. F*** you, movie. Are we supposed to believe that after the jumpsuit guy threw David off the balcony, these kids saw it and were able to save him from drowning? And the orange man didn't see any of it? And the kids aren't freaking out that they might be seen? Despite the fact that David is shown to be a superhero whose only weakness is water, and he can lift 350 pounds of weights and paint cans, this guy will give him a good fight. I just superheroed, let's f***. Also, our marriage is fine now, yay! You could argue David sliding the paper into his son's field of view is his way of telling Joseph that he was right all along, but I see it as simple bragging, which is selfish. Jesus, this is good Shyamalan. Great Shyamalan. What happened to this guy? I mean, he does some things in this movie that are kind of cheesy and calls attention to himself, but he always gave the story, the characters, and the emotional weight a lot of regard as well. I'm removing 3 sins for this movie on the whole, which is great. And can we get a damn Unbreakable 2 already? We got 2 ghostwriters. Here comes the whammy ending. A pretty good whammy ending, actually. But it's kind of hard to believe David never touched this guy during all their interactions and got a sense that Elijah was evil. It's never explained how Elijah planted a bomb on a plane, but I guess nobody notices guys in all blue suits walking with a cane in restricted areas.
Like, if there ever was a fire on floors 1, 2, or 3, everyone in that hotel would be burned alive.
Who casually talks about a hotel's fire safety at a bar? Who brings up that the hotel has secrets and the first thing he says is a fire on the first 3 floors would kill everyone? Welcome to one of the most anticlimactic endings, especially after dropping a whammy on you, that you'll ever see. The movie just sits here and tells us what happened rather than showing us, even though this movie is only 1 hour and 45 minutes long. This ending is almost as terrible as the entire rest of the movie is amazing. 5 sins for this bullshit.
Welcome to hell, bitch!
I love my dead gay son.
In West Philadelphia, born and raised on the playground is where I spent most of my days.
Mr. Price, can we talk about the note that you left on my car?
I'm here to talk to you about the Avenger Initiative.
Warriors, come out to play!
Ezekiel 25:17. The path of the righteous man is beset on all sides.
He's going pro in the draft. They say he can run the 40 in 4.3 seconds.
I thought Tommy Tomasino sucked big time.
You also do probation work, right?
That's right, I see violent offenders.
Oh, bad guys.
Not necessarily.
Oh, the bin man. I think he's one of them.
The garbage man?
Negative.